What is going on, guys? It is Kyle, or Kai Presents, and today we're going to be talking about day one of the NCAA tournament. There was not that many upsets, but there was still a few and some good games that were close to being upsets. So we're going to go through each game one by one. We're just going to talk about it. And day two is today. Yes, day two. Yeah, day two is today. I am filming this video on March 17th, so day two is like right around the corner, and games start at 11:15 with opening tip-off at 11:15 between Oklahoma State and Michigan. But let's get started here on this video. So the first game of the day was Princeton and Notre Dame. I didn't get a chance to watch that game because I was in school, but that game, my people were telling me, was back and forth. Princeton was just right there with them. They said Notre Dame didn't play very well, and Princeton just played very well. But Notre Dame would end up getting the victory, as you can see, 60-58 as the final, and Notre Dame would advance to Saturday's games to play the winner of, I'm pretty sure, West Virginia and Bucknell. Game two was between UNC Wilmington and Virginia. That game I did watch. That was a good game. Virginia, they played iffy. They had a 1-point lead at halftime, and then after halftime, they kind of picked it a little up. It was just back and forth, and Virginia, the Cavaliers, would beat Wilmington by 5 in the final, 76-71, and they would go on to Saturday's games to play the winner of Florida and East Tennessee State. Game 3 was Winthrop and Butler. I did watch the end of this at school. They let us watch the end of this at school, and Butler was just up basically the whole game. Winthrop tried to make a comeback at the end, but they just couldn't, and Butler would beat them 76-64 over the Winthrop Eagles, and the Eagles had a very good season at 26-7. But Butler will play Saturday too against the winner of Minnesota and Middle Tennessee State. So there you go. And then game 4, South Dakota State Gonzaga. I didn't watch any of this because I knew Gonzaga was going to blow them out, but it was close at halftime. But then Gonzaga just pulled away at the end, and Gonzaga would beat the Jackrabbits 46-66 as the final in Salt Lake City. So that was a good one. Jackrabbits' worst record, coming in 18-16, got their 17th loss after a 20-point loss to the best team in the nation. So game number 5, as Gonzaga will play the winner of Northwestern in Vandy. Bucknell and West Virginia. This was a good game. West Virginia led them by 9 at the half, 42-33. But Bucknell wasn't on. Bucknell just kept answering back and back and back. West Virginia would make a shot. Bucknell would come right down and make a shot. It was just back and forth. It was a good game. But Mountaineers, West Virginia will go on to Saturday to play they will go on Saturday to play Notre Dame. They will play Notre Dame, West Virginia versus Notre Dame. So next game was between East Tennessee State and Florida. This was a good game. It was a 1-point game at the half, but I'm pretty sure just East Tennessee State just basically gave up second half. They played really well. They were athletic. They dunked like amazing. If you guys saw that, they were like making like SC top 10 dunks. But yeah, so Florida would go on, and they will play Virginia on Saturday. Game number 7. Game 7. Middle Tennessee State, Minnesota. I didn't watch a single of this game, so I really don't know what happened. As you can see down here, right here in this little area right here, tells the score, but let me go back to that. And it looks like the Middle Tennessee Blue Raiders are 31-4. And if you guys didn't know, in 2016's NCAA tournament, they defeated Michigan State is a 15 seed. Michigan State Spartans, they defeated them in a lot of ruined people's brackets. This kind of hurt my bracket because I had Minnesota going to the Sweet 16, but not really because I had North Carolina beating them. But yeah, they would end up winning, and they will go on to play Butler, the Butler Bulldogs. Game number 8, I'm pretty sure, is between Northwestern and Vanderbilt. I watched the beginning of this game up until halftime when it was 34-27 Northwestern, and then Vanderbilt came back and played a little bit better. I watched a little on my phone, and they played a little bit better. But Northwestern, first ever NCAA tournament, in the first ever NCAA tournament win, 1-0 in the NCAA tournament. So Northwestern will go on to play Gonzaga. Isn't that get your first ever win, but you got to go on to play the best team in the nation, the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Game number 9, Xavier. Wait, I think it's 9. Yeah, Xavier versus Maryland. Xavier just played lights out. Everyone was expecting them to win. Most people were expecting them to win. I actually had Maryland because I thought Melo Trimble would play good and lead them to victory, but Maryland had the lead at half, and then Xavier just outscored them by 12. So Xavier will go on to play the winner of Florida State and Florida Gulf Coast. Mount St. Mary's and Villanova. This was a closer game than the score. It was 30-29 lead for Villanova at halftime, but then a 19-point deficit in the second half. So that's why Villanova won, and they will go on to play the winner of Wisconsin and Virginia Tech. Next game was between Virginia Commonwealth Rams against St. Mary's Gales. I had the Gales winning this game because I didn't think VCU was that great, but 8-point game, so I didn't watch any of this game either, but I am sure going to watch a lot of games today. So the Gales would hold their court, basically, is what I was trying to say, hold their own, and they got the win by 8 over Rams, and they will play winner of Arizona and North Dakota. Next game is game 11, I want to say. Game 12. And that's between the Vermont Catamounts and the Purdue Boilermakers. And Vermont was actually playing good in the first half. Like, a lot of these upset contender teams played good in the first half, but they really didn't play good in the second half, as you can tell. Up down 1, and then down 9 in the second. And they would end up losing 80-70, and Purdue would go on. And Purdue would play the winner of Nevada and Iowa State. So next game, game 13, between Florida Gulf Coast and Florida State. This was my game that I watched basically the whole game. This game was back and forth. Florida Gulf Coast's Goodwin has really good hops. He had about, I think, 23 points, and he was just lights out. He played extremely well. He played phenomenal. But they wouldn't get the job done, and Florida State's team would end up with the win. But what are you going to do when you have 5, 6, 8 people over 6'8", and you're not that tall? So what are you going to do about it? Game number 15, Nevada Wolfpack and the Iowa State Cyclones. Iowa State, this game was back and forth too. Iowa State up 13 at the half. Nevada kind of tried to make a run, and they just couldn't get the run down and would lose 73-84, but Iowa State would go on to play the Purdue Boilermakers, and that's going to be a good game. I'm going to have to stay tuned to that one on Saturday, but that should be a good one. And the last game of the night was featuring the 15 seed North Dakota Fighting Hawks against the Arizona Wildcats. Wildcats came to this game 31-4, Pac-12 champs beating the Oregon Ducks, and the Oregon Ducks will play Saturday at 1 o'clock. 1 o'clock. And that should be a good one there. Oregon against Iona, but Arizona would pull out a 182 game. North Dakota just trailed them for a while and just couldn't do much against them. At least they played good against 31-14 when you're 22-10, but what can I say? But guys, that's going to be it for day 1. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys could please leave a like on this video, subscribe, and share with your friends. That would be amazing. Day 2 will be up around Yeah.